The winter wind whispered softly through the streets of Boston, carrying with it the scent of roasted chestnuts from a corner stall and the laughter of bundled up children tossing snowballs. The city was blanketed in a fresh layer of snow, and every lamppost glowed warmly against the pale white canvas. It was December, the season of shimmering lights, steaming cups of hot cocoa, and unexpected miracles. For Emily Carter, the snow was both a comfort and a reminder. She had moved to Boston from Chicago just a few months earlier after accepting a job as an editor at a small but respected publishing house. Though she loved her work, she often felt the sharp pang of loneliness in this new city. Her friends and family were miles away, and the winter evenings stretched endlessly. That afternoon, she decided to step into a little bookshop near Beacon Hill, a place she had walked past many times but never entered. Its frosted windows displayed stacks of novels wrapped with ribbons, a sign that read, "Warm reads for cold nights." A tiny bell jingled as she pushed the door open, and instantly she was enveloped by the cozy scent of old paper, pine-scented candles, and freshly brewed coffee from the small cafe tucked inside. Emily brushed snow from her coat and smiled faintly as her eyes wandered across the shelves. Books had always been her refuge, her way of escaping the chaos of reality. As she traced her fingers along the spines, she felt a sense of calm settle in her chest. Meanwhile, on the other side of the shop, Daniel Hayes was sitting at a wooden table, a half-finished manuscript in front of him. Daniel was a young novelist struggling to find his voice. He had published one book years ago that had gained modest attention, but the pressure of writing something better had left him stuck in a spiral of self-doubt. The quiet bookshop was his safe haven, a place where he could stare at his words and hope they eventually made sense. When Emily moved closer to the shelf near Daniel's table, she accidentally brushed against it, sending a paperback sliding off. Before she could catch it, a hand reached out, quick and steady, grabbing it midair. She looked up and found herself staring into Daniel's warm hazel eyes. "Careful," Daniel said with a small smile. "Books can be slippery this time of year." Emily laughed softly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. "Thanks. I didn't mean to cause an avalanche." Daniel handed her the book, tilting his head slightly. "Good choice, though. That's one of my favorites." She glanced at the title, Winter's Promise. "I haven't read it," she admitted, "but it looks like the kind of story I'd enjoy." There was a pause, the kind of silence that didn't feel uncomfortable, but rather like an opening. Emily felt something in his expression, a quiet kindness, as though he carried stories in his eyes. "First time here?" Daniel asked. Emily nodded. "Yeah, I just moved to the city a few months ago, still getting used to Boston winters." "Then you've found the perfect place to hide from them," Daniel said, gesturing to the shelves. "This bookstore feels like a snow globe sometimes. Safe, warm, a little bit magical." Emily smiled, and something about that moment, two strangers in the middle of a snowy evening, surrounded by stories, felt like the beginning of something unspoken. Over the next few weeks, fate seemed to push them together again and again. Every time Emily stopped by the shop after work, Daniel would already be there, scribbling notes, or lost in thought with a mug of coffee at his side. Slowly, their conversations grew from casual remarks about books to deeper exchanges about life, dreams, and fears. One evening, as snow drifted heavily outside, Emily joined Daniel at his table. He looked unusually frustrated, his notebook filled with crossed-out sentences. "Writer's block?" she asked gently. He sighed, running a hand through his dark hair. "More like writer's wall. I can't seem to get past it." Emily tilted her head, considering him. "Maybe you're trying too hard." "Sometimes the best words come when you stop forcing them." Daniel chuckled softly. "Spoken like an editor." "Guilty," she said with a playful grin. Then, more seriously, she added, "Tell me what you're trying to write about. Maybe talking it through will help." And so he did. For the first time in months, Daniel opened up about his story, a tale of love, loss, and rediscovery. Emily listened intently, asking questions that made him think, offering insights that sparked new ideas. By the end of the night, Daniel's notebook was no longer filled with frustrated scribbles, but with fresh beginnings. "You're good at this," he told her, gratitude shining in his eyes. "Maybe that's why I became an editor," she teased. But deep down she felt something more, a connection that went beyond words on a page. As winter deepened, their bond grew. They explored snowy streets together, sipping hot chocolate.